And if there's one major point I would like to leave you with, and I'm not finished though, but this is a major point. It has to do with one of the towering responses to American terrorism. I think it's no accident that Toni Morrison has written one marvelous play. It's called Dreaming Emmett. Because August 1955 was one of the most significant moments in the history of American civilization. It was when a young, beautiful, precious black brother, 14 years old, in gut bucket Jim Crow, Mississippi, was murdered by American terrorists, cowardly white supremacists, as he winked at a white sister. Murdered him, cut him up, threw him in the river. Tallahatchie Bridge, was the song says. And Emmitt Till said, we're going to bring his body back. We're going to remember him, given his dismemberment. And we're going to keep the casket open. We're going to put it in Robert's Temple of Church and God in Christ in the south side of Chicago. And the president and the governor and the mayor said, keep the casket closed. Why? Because we don't want to expose and reveal and unearth this night side, this form of death in the midst of American democracy. We're telling the world we've achieved rough justice in August of 1955. Emmitt Till said, no. We're going to keep this casket open. We're going to invite John Johnson and Jet Magazine and Ebony Magazine to take pictures so that in every Negro barbershop and beauty salon it will be visible. And we're going to open that church. We're going to open it, as black churches have always done historically, to white brothers and sisters as well as black. 50,000 fellow citizens marched through that little church to take a look at Emmitt Till's body. It was the first massive civil rights demonstration 3 months before courageous Sister Rosa Parks sat down in order to stand up for justice in Montgomery, December 1955. And the moment, and this is a grand gift, the moment Emmitt Till stepped up to the pulpit and looked over the lectern and saw her baby. His head was 5 times the size of his ordinary head. It was her only baby. His father had fought in the U.S. Army. She's still in her 30s. And she looks out on the crowd. And what does she say? She says, I don't have a minute to hate. I'll pursue justice for the rest of my life. Not just Socratic in terms of the questioning and interrogation. It was also connected to this second gift of black folk to America and the world, which is an ethical gift of prophetic witness. She didn't have to read Plato to know that Socrates is never depicted as crying. He never sheds a tear. He argues, but Amos cries, and Jesus weeps because they love so. Socrates loves wisdom, but as Gregory Vlastos, our dear teacher, Professor Alexander Neamos, distinguished classical scholar, says, does Socrates ever love the concrete person? Does he understand what the sources of the tears actually are? Does he ever love enough concretely to weep? And whether Gregory Vlastos is right or wrong, I think he's right, but whether he's right or wrong, Emmitt Till's mother understood. She could be Socratic and prophetic at the same time. And what a gift Martin King had the same challenge when he had to preach the eulogy of 4 young sisters, September 1963 in Birmingham, the 16th Street Baptist Church. American terrorists killed those 4 precious young black sisters. First time he cried in public. He said, in the face of this kind of terror, somehow we must muster the armor of love and justice. The age of terrorism going all the way back for black people. And I say to myself, when America is niggerized in the way that I'm talking about, terrorized in the way that I've alluded to, do we hear enough voices like Emmitt Till's mother? Do we hear enough voices like Martin King? If Emmett Till's mother at that particular moment had engaged in melodramatic narratives that have to do with pure victims and impure victimizers, with pristine heroes and tainted villains, if she engaged in a Manichaean view of the world, well, we're the axis of good and these white folk are the axis of evil, if she had said we ought to hunt these terrorists down like cockroaches and bring them back dead or alive, if black people in general had responded to American terrorism in that way, there would be no such thing as American democracy, because there'd be a civil war every generation.